Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpack Trader Training Room for Thursday, December 11th, 2025. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not financial advice. Trade your charts, not mine. Trading of this type carries substantial risks and should only be attempted with funds you can afford to do without. This should be risk capital only. All right, this is our only session today, so we'll do away with the disclosure. Rude, no trades yet this morning. Everything's too early. Let's see. Unleaded, also too early trade. Unleaded now is flat. Crude is flat also. There is a short trade on the YM potential. Long trade did stop out. Short has not triggered in. So Pound Aussie in a long trade was a get in sync. Definitely should be in. As I said, unleaded is flat. Soybeans has a get in sync long. And we'll see in just under 3 minutes. Actually, just under 2 minutes. See where this goes. All right, short trade on the YM has canceled. Micro Russell, YM, and Micro NQ all should be rolling to the March contract probably tomorrow or Monday. But for the moment, we're still on the December contracts. Micro Russell definitely still December. YM definitely still December. Keep an eye on that. All right, market is open. The YM has a get in sync, and we are long on the YM. And that quickly, the YM goes to target. The YM is trailing. Let's see, what did soybeans do here? That was early. That looks like we're still in a get in sync mode there. All right, YM stops out. Now let's see what we're. Yeah, target would have been target 2 for 21 ticks. Not a big trade, but enough to get us positive. So the YM is done. We can put unleaded up there. Micro Russell picking up a long trade. I believe that hit. Yep, that hit target 3. So we'll move up to target 4. There we go. And it looks like target 3 and break even stop. So that is a win on trade number 1. We'd have needed to move up 1 tick, but I'm not going to mark that up at this point. Soybeans coming up within a tick of the entry. Not quite to our start time on the micro NQ yet. 4 minutes after market open. Regular schedule next week. And then I'll be dark for almost 3 weeks. I'll be traveling for Christmas. And there is another new long trade on the micro Russell. And that one touched the entry and pulled back to the stop. That is going to be a no trade, I expect. Once again, 1 tick move up. We hit the stop, so that's not even going to be a. Soybeans still not triggered in. Micro NQ picks up a long trade and gets a break-even stop there. So that's break-even for trade number 1 on the micro NQ. Yep, just touched target 1, came back. Pound Aussie long, soybeans potential long. Micro Russell's flat, crude's flat, unleaded is flat. Micro NQ has a short setup. That is at this point a get in sync. Bigger trade. Big wick on this one. So this one's going to be I'm fairly certain this will be a target 1 goal. No, actually not. Not quite enough to get target 1. So we'll go to target 2, which is down there. And we switch over to a long. So that's a no trade on the short. The long may be too fast. Let's see. Yep, the long is going to be too fast. So that's a no trade on the long. And now a short. That one should, that one definitely should be in. And that one you can't get away from. So that's going to be a loss. Break even and a loss so far. Unleaded with a long trade. See if we can push up through those moving averages. Micro NQ with a short. Definitely in. It's money management. And we get a break-even stop out. So 2 break-evens and a loss. Soybeans triggers into the long. Unleaded in a long. Looks like we've got, and there is a long setup on the Micro Russell. Push that up at least a tick. Don't want to enter on at the session high. Push it up to 6. Key level. So that's going to mean we've moved it 3. We're going to have to go 6 ticks. Or I'm sorry, 4 ticks rather than just 1 for a 14 tick minimum. Pushing up through target 1, 79 flat. And we hit money management. So we are trailing now. And that's going to be at 7 because of our adjustment. Micro NQ with a long trade. That was too fast to execute. We'll see if it comes back down to the entry. I saw that coming and still couldn't get down there to do anything with it. All right, target 3 on the micro Russell. And looks like we hit target 4 on the nose and stopped out for just a few ticks, just a couple of ticks. So that is a win. That I called a no trade. That didn't trigger. And that one was a win. So we have a win, 2 wins, and waiting for the next trade. Short trade on the micro NQ. Soybeans in the long, trying to push up through its session high. Session high at 95 3/4. Pound Aussie pushing through the entry again. Unleaded just below its entry, and we take a full stop out on micro NQ. So break even, break even. Oh no, that one was too fast. So we have to break even. That was a loss. That one was a no trade. This one's a no trade. And that was a break even. 2 break evens, 2 losses. Long trade on crude. Long trade setup on crude hasn't triggered yet. That is target 1 is our 10 tick minimum. So targets 1 and 2 are our objectives. Unleaded making a little bit of a move upward. The long trade, 12 minutes before the end of the session, and it did trigger in. And Aussie moving up, soybeans back just below its entry. Unleaded back to just above its entry, right on the 20 SMA. So now where do we go? Micro Russell and Micro NQ both headed downward. Micro Russell going through session open after setting a new session high. Volume is under unleaded, so I can't take a look at that right now. Money management on the pound Aussie trade. Stop moves up. To 118. Target 1 on the pound Aussie, so that will be, this will definitely be a power quitting trade. Next goal target is target 2. Target 1 was good for 14 pips. 23 at target 2. Pound Aussie looks like it'll stop will move up to 119. On the next close of the next bar. The next bar will definitely close above the balance line. Micro NQ in a long trade. And that gets us, we have a potential stop and reverse that does trigger in, it looks like. Entry 71, Okay, let's make it 69 3/4. And it does trigger in. Actually, that stop and reverse loss is loss number 3 on the micro NQ. So that ends the session. We do not get into this short. 5 trades, 2 break-evens, 3 losses. Not a good day in micro NQ. That's done. YM is also coming down off of session highs. Target 2 on the pound Aussie. 23 ticks. And that is 37, or pips rather, 37 pips. And we'll look for target 3. Crude kind of going sideways in this right now, as is unleaded. Both in long trades. Pound Aussie did stop, moved up to 19. Micro Russell and Micro NQ are on Catapult Trader. Pound Aussie, crude, unleaded, and the YM are on Spotlight. And soybeans is on Counterpunch. Custom Renko bars on the 2 Catapult charts. Range bars on Spotlight and Counterpunch. So, all based on price action. Long trade on the pound, or I'm sorry, long trade on the Micro Russell up in the upper left is filtered out by that cyan line. That's a 22 EMA. Custom trade plan, that entry has to get above that to get a long trade, or below it to get a short trade. Looks like the next move on the pound Aussie is a stop to 123. Possibly 124, but I'm just depending on how much the balance line moves up if we continue on up. Possible short trade coming. Here it is. Micro Russell has a short, touched and pulled back up. So that is, at this point, I would call that a get in sync. Needs to move down 1 for money management. And again, we take a full loss on that trade. And now we have a long setup. That one touches and comes back. That same situation, except that one's going to be a no trade. So I won't necessarily mark up the 14 ticks. So we'll just put it on target 1. Yeah, we're doing one more tick. And it hits the stop. So trade is definitely off the table. We did move up to 124 for the pound Aussie stop. Just missing target 3. I would probably move the position stop up to target 2. I'm not going to let it come all the way back to the trailer. And we get it to go through. So target 3 in hand. And we'll go to target 4. Final goal target. $68 pips in hand at target 3. Still long on crude, long on unleaded, long on soybeans. So I have a loss. I believe we have 2 wins and a break even. Is that right? That was a no trade. That was a win. That was a no trade. And that was a win. So again, 2 wins and a loss. So just 3 trades. Unleaded, trying to move up to money management. First trade of the morning for unleaded. Also first trade of the morning for crude. That's also a 10 a.m. If you're not trading the 9 a.m. session, that's a 10 a.m. session trade. Just triggered in as a get in sync. Looks like money management on unleaded. So it'll be at least a break even. 75.47. Short on the micro Russell. Target 2 is big enough to be our, because of the wick here on the micro Russell trade. Target 2 is under that. It's under there. $3.6. That is big enough to. And this is looking like and that's a loss and an entry in. Yeah, that's definitely an entry into the long. So 2 wins, 2 losses. And this one's going to be at least a break even. Yep, needed 1 more. So that will be a 7. And there is a win at target 3. So that's 3 wins, 2 losses. And we'll work to target 4 now. Target 1 on unleaded, money management, and target 1 on crude. 10 ticks in hand. This will be a one and done for the 9 o'clock session or the 10 o'clock session if you're not trading 9 o'clock. If you're trading 9 o'clock and you don't add to the position for 10 o'clock, then it's just a 9 o'clock trade. Stop at 37. Micro Russell through target 4 and trailing nicely. $65.4. Soybean stopped and reversed. $90.50, so that comes down to 90 flat. Yeah, there we are. So we've got to be at least 88.5 on this target. Let's check that. Yep, that's going to be seven ticks. And that hit. So we have 7 ticks in hand on that. Our stop is going to be 89 3/4, which I believe is going to be right there. Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. Now, what did we lose? We went from an entry 93 3/4 to 90 flat is 3 3/4 points, 12, 15 ticks. Lost 15 points. And there is a stop out. So we picked up 10 ticks. So we're down 12.5 points now. All right. Pound Aussie stop moves up to 127. Micro Russell stop moves up all the way to 67.8. Target 2 on unleaded, so this will be one and done for both target 1 or target 2 traders. $75.59 for the stop. 48 ticks for target, 48 for target 1, 2, 30 for target 1. Our entry was 75.46, and our stop now moves up to 75.62. So 16 ticks so far on the trailer, 30 or 48 ticks depending on your target on the fixed target. So target 2 would be 64 ticks at this point, with the trailer still in play. Micro Russell, 89.3. Soybeans. Unfortunately, we're already out and just hit 2 on the short. So unleaded may have stopped out. 62. Where did we get down? Yes, we did hit the unleaded stop on the nose. So 64 ticks for target 1, 46 ticks for target 2, 46 ticks for target 1. And trailer continuing on 70.8 on the Micro Russell. Micro Russell still 70.8. Crude stops out for 11 ticks on the trade. 9 a.m. session is done. We'll look for a new trade for the 10 a.m. session. Or the 10 a.m. Both could be done if you added additional positions for the 10 a.m. session when we get in sync. Micro Russell 71.9. We get an up close on pound Aussie, that's going to move the stop up. Down close is going to keep the stop right where it is, 127. Actually, is that 127 or 129? Yep, that moved up to 129. Micro Russell continuing upward. 73.9. Potential short trade on a down close on crude. Micro Russell stops out at 73.9. Third win, this was a big one. Targets 3-4 and a trailer about 3 times target 4. And that's a third loss. So 3 wins, 3 losses on the Micro Russell ends that session. Pound Aussie still in long trade. Stop at 129. Crude looking for a 10 a.m. mini session trade. Unleaded is power of quitting. Micro NQ took 2 wins and 3 losses. Or no, I'm sorry, it was 2 break evens and 3 losses. Soybean still tracking the short, but we stopped out because of the stop and reverse adjustment. Still can take up to 3 more trades there. Good morning, Richard. Not much to watch right now. Micro Russell is done. YM is done. Micro Russell, YM, and Micro NQ all done. Also, they'll be rolling over to the March contracts. My guess would be tomorrow or Monday. It's usually right around the 12th. Yeah, it was bouncing back and forth, but it was tradable, depending on the chart you were running. There's your short on crude. 10 a.m. trade, mini session trade. Does trigger in, it looks like. That's a 30, 34. I don't see a 3-tick adjustment to get it down to 31, get around the 20. And we exit the pound Aussie trade on a reversal entry at 133. So 2 positions off at 133 from the entry at 117. 16 pips times 2 positions, 32 pips on the trailer. Targets 1, 2, and 3 for 68. Gives us an even 100 pips. One and done session. So soybeans and crude are the only things still running. Crude is in a short. Crude is short. Soybeans is flat. Well, wasn't referring to what strategy. I was referring to what your bar size was, because that's going to determine how fast, specifically for if you're using a custom Renko bar on cloud control, what your offset is going to determine how fast the chart is to a great extent. What bar are you using on the micro NQ? Not much movement at the moment. Okay, we're getting close to rolling over to the March contract on soybeans. Not there yet. And then I expect sometime next week. Actually, that might be Christmas week. All right, crude short, soybeans flat. Those are active charts today at the moment. Not a whole lot going on. Potential long trade. They've got to get confirmation on the histogram. Cyan needs to cross above the yellow, which it hasn't quite yet. Still just below. Potential at 1090. If it pushes up too high, it'll be 1090.50. Chase ticks will take over. It's more than 2 ticks beyond the entry when when the trade sets up. Crude back down to the entry. Soybean going nowhere. Right. Peaked below the entry on crude. And we peaked above the entry on soybeans, but came back a tick below. So still no trade, no official trade there, just a possibility of one. And crude starting to make a move. Nothing from soybeans. Same. Crude pushing back up slightly. All right. Only two charts still active this morning. 10 a.m. crude mini session in a short. And soybeans is flat after a loss and a target one win. actually a reversal and stop and reverse and a target one win. New long trade on pound Aussie. We're done on that trade plan. The brick on Micro Russell is a 1.5 point brick with a 0.5 point offset. What were you running for Micro NQ? That's the custom evening plan that I'm actually running here. It's on the website for the Micro Russell. Just running it as an example. Okay, crude taking a little bit of heat. Still haven't got an official trade on soybeans yet. And there is the official trade on soybeans, and that just triggered in at 1090. $10.85 3/4 for the stop. $10.92 3/4 for money management and target one. $10.94 for target two. add-on short on crude. We're in the short, earlier short already, so nothing to do there. Still sitting in the long on unleaded or on soybeans. All right, soybeans, target one and money management. Stop will come up. 90 1/4. That is 11 ticks. 2 3/4 points. That brings us under 10 points down, 9 3/4. All right. Sideways on crude. We're 5 minutes from being out of the session. Testing the 50 on crude. Soybeans halfway between target 1 and target 2. Same. All right, about 11 o'clock, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. These trades are going very, very, very slowly. And movement at 11 o'clock. Oh, a lot of movement at 11 o'clock. Crude goes to money management, target 1 and target 2. So that crude ends up positive on the 10 a.m. session, one and done. Soybeans didn't do much, but crude definitely getting a little bit of a swing there at 11 o'clock. And that took care of the trade, getting us through 2 targets. All right, that leaves just soybeans. 9 3/4 points down. We've got 3 positions still in play, so that'll put us to 9 points at minimum. So what would we need to get even there? Target 2 is 18, target 3 is 24. It'll be 42 ticks. If we get target 3, we'll be positive. So I'm going to call it a morning there. Soybeans not going very fast, so I'm not going to wait for that to complete. So we will see everybody on Tuesday. As I said, regular session next week. I'll be dark all of the next 2 weeks, and Tuesday and Wednesday of the first week of January. Should be back in here on Thursday the 8th. So we will see everybody next week. Have a good weekend, good trading tomorrow and Monday. Watch out if you're trading any of the market indices. Those quarterly contracts will probably roll on volume tomorrow or Monday. We'll revisit that on Tuesday. Everybody have a good one, and we will see you then.